Hi, welcome to Is It Truly Gluten Free? At this point, we're going to be testing Great Value gluten-free brownie mix. So I'm going to go ahead and tear this package open. Now obviously this is labeled gluten-free. It also carries the GFCO certified gluten-free certification, which means that this product should be gluten-free at a level of less than 10 parts per million. So I am going to actually throw this in a blender. Now I really suspect that this product is probably very well mixed. It probably was mixed prior to being put in the package, but just to be on the safe side, I'm going to throw it in this blender just to ensure that it is well homogenized, that if there is gluten in it, that it's well mixed so that we don't miss it. I'll put the lid on the blender jar and we'll give it a blend here. Okay, so the sample should be very well mixed now. I have a plastic bag labeled Great Value Brownie Mix that I'm gonna pour this sample into. All right, so our sample of Great Value Brownie Mix should be ready for testing. Okay, so we're now ready to begin the testing process on the Great Value Brownie Mix. So I've got this vial right here labeled GVB Great Value Brownie, and I'm going to go ahead and uncap that. So what we need to do first is we need to measure out 1 gram of the food sample, in this case the Great Value Brownie Mix, into this vial right here. And so I'm going to put this vial on the scale. Now I have my brownie mix right here, and we're going to measure out 1 gram of this into the vial. All right, there's 1 gram right on the nose. Take that out and put the cap back on. Now at this point, because this sample is predominantly cocoa, we have to take an extra step. Cocoa is rich in what are called polyphenols. That is a substance that interferes with the detection of gluten. So with the GlutenTox Sticks Plus test kit, there's an additive that we need to use, which I have right here, for use in foods that are rich in polyphenols. So I've got the additive right here, and what I'm going to do is going to take this vial again, and we need to add 1 gram of the polyphenol additive to it. So we'll go ahead and zero that scale. Now we'll go ahead and drop some of this in here. All right, there we go. So there's 1 gram of the polyphenol additive. Go ahead and put the cap on there. All right, now the next step is we need to add the extraction solution to the vial. So I've got my extraction solution here, and what we need is we need to add 10 milliliters of the extraction solution to the vial containing the food sample. So I've got my pipette here, set to 10 milliliters. Now that we've got that done, we need to vortex the sample. Okay, that's done. So our next step is going to be to put this sample in a thermostatic water bath and allow it to incubate for 40 minutes at 50 degrees Celsius. So I've got to pull out the water bath and we'll get it ready to go, and we'll proceed from there. All right, now we're ready for the incubation phase, where basically we're going to put these vials, these samples, into a thermostatic water bath. Now I am putting multiple samples in just because that's more efficient. I'm going to do 6 at a time. So these need to incubate in this hot water bath for about 40 minutes at 50 degrees Celsius. I'm going to come back periodically and vortex all of the samples, and then we'll proceed from there. It's time for the first round of vortexing for the Great Value Brownie mix. Okay, second round of vortexing. Third and last round of vortexing. Okay, now it's time to centrifuge the samples. We just finished with the incubation, and now let me open the centrifuge here. So again, as with the incubation, I'm going to be centrifuging multiple samples at the same time, just for efficiency's sake. So I have 6 spots in my centrifuge. I have 6 samples here. So I am going to centrifuge these now. I'm going to do it for 10 minutes at 2500 Gs. Okay, the centrifuge is now done with our samples. So I've got here the Great Value Brownie mix, and this is the sample that was centrifuged. This is an empty vial. What I'm going to do is you'll notice that the solids have been pushed to the bottom of this vial by the centrifuge. Up on top we've just got liquid. That liquid is what we're after. That should have the extracted gluten in it. So I'm going to take this vial and I'm going to pour off that liquid into the other vial. And now at this point I can just throw that vial in the trash. So this vial here with the clarified liquid, I am going to allow it to stand for a little while so as to bring it to room temperature. Okay, now we're ready to do the analysis and the dilution in the analysis on Great Value gluten-free brownie mix. So I have the sample of the brownie mix here that has been extracted, and I also have some dilution solution. Now for the dilution step, what we do is we take a certain amount of dilution solution and we mix it with the sample in this empty vial right here. Now we're going to do this test at a limit of detection of 10 parts per million. If you've seen some of my other videos, you're probably aware that I usually do the first test on a product at 3 parts per million. But if you recall, earlier in the test procedure, I used the polyphenol additive. So one side effect of that additive is that when you use it, you can't accurately test below 10 parts per million. So that is a 1 to 75 ratio of food sample to dilution solution. So I'm going to open my dilution solution here. So for 10 parts per million, we've got to take 986.7 microliters of the dilution solution and mix it with 13.3 microliters of the food sample. So 986.7 microliters of dilution is what we're after. So we've got our dilution in there. Next step is to get our food sample. So we should now have 13.3 microliters of the food sample in there. Go ahead and mix it. Okay, so at this point I need to take 100 microliters of the diluted sample that we just made, and I need to put it in this last well. All of the previous wells, you'll notice, are covered with tape. They've all been used. This last well is unused. Next, we drop in the test strip, and we'll set a timer for 10 minutes. Okay, our time is up on the Great Value gluten-free brownie mix, and I'm looking on the test stick for a red line of any kind, and I'm not seeing it. So what that tells me is that according to GlutenTox Sticks Plus, Great Value gluten-free brownie mix is gluten-free at a limit of detection of 10 parts per million. We did this one at 10 parts per million. So that's the lowest we can go because of the polyphenol content, but we can rest assured that the gluten content should be below 10 parts per million. So this concludes this test on great value gluten-free brownie mix using GlutenTox Sticks Plus at a limit of detection of 10 parts per million. At some future date, we're going to test this product again. And until then, we've got lots more tests coming, so stick around for those and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you'd like to stay updated on new gluten test videos as they're posted, don't forget to subscribe. You can also visit us on the web at isittrulyglutenfree.com or follow us on social media at isittrulyglutenfree. Thanks again and have a great day.